and I just wanted to show you. I found this thing on the floor when I was cleaning up. It's this little tiny yellow
rubber ducky, you're the one.
Here we are. Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh Weekly. As always, I'm Robo, and what a week. Oh my god, I thought the last couple of weeks were bad, and I mean bad in the best possible sense imaginable, but there's just too much stuff. It's a constant stream of information. It's not, oh, well, that's cool, let's look at these pictures for a minute. It's more like, oh, that's cool, what do you got over here? What are you showing me? Solicitations? Pre-orders? Did I miss something? What's over here? I planned on doing a mid-weekly because the news was already stacked at the first of the week. Get that out of the way and then roll into Friday with all Comic-Con stuff, not everything stacked on top of each other. But then the Fwoosh forums decided, you know what? We haven't had a good old crash in a while. Let's go ahead and do that. Only lost 5 years of posts after it was all said and done, after staring at a screen of just code and tables and what is going on here. But it wouldn't be San Diego Comic-Con season without some kind of hiccup. This is just a bigger hiccup than the last few years. So we're doing this all today, or at least up until early Friday morning. That's when I'm recording this right now. There's so much to talk about already. It's going to take most of the day to edit this, and I can hear you already saying, why don't you just get to it instead of rambling? Because this is already going to run long. What's it matter? But being that this is early Friday, and San Diego is still going on, there will still be more reveals the rest of today and Saturday, maybe even Sunday. So we will get to that next week. Because on Thursday, McFarlane Toys just decided to throw out as much DC Multiverse as they possibly could. I think they revealed more this week than they released at the first of the year and then at Toy Fair. And while it is still Batman-centric, the cast just grows and grows. And yes, I'm going to have to read these out because, one, there's too much, and two, I can't even remember what I had for breakfast. First of all, they showed us a group shot with Robin Earth 22 from the Dark Knight's Metal comic book series. There was Superman Infected and Batman from Dark Knight's Metal. And then another Batman Who Laughs, but this time around, he has Sky Tyrant wings, and all of that come with pieces to assemble the Merciless. Now, you'll notice the Crow Robins have all different heads. There's a closed mouth, there's a gritting mouth, and then there's an open mouth. And what worries me here is their reveal said, find all three to build your own army. Does that mean they're packed randomly with a different head? You don't buy one Robin and it's packed with 3 head options? I don't know, it's a vague sentence that I may be just overthinking. Maybe they clarified this later in the day, but find. And then, yes, another Batman Who Laughs, but this is a very popular character, and it is a new sculpt, and then the wings are awesome looking. I've heard people say they would prefer to get Sky Tyrant, but the way Todd's going right now, he's gonna keep going through the metal cast. Batman and Superman, a little thick and oddly proportioned, but you're not gonna pass on these if you want to build the Merciless. That's another metal character for you. And then they showed Batman Arkham Knight, Batman and Deathstroke. That just makes sense at this point. Deathstroke's heavily rumored to show back up in the DC movie universe or something. I can't keep up with all those on top of toys too, but I've heard Deathstroke thrown around. Plus, it seems like collectors liked the Arkham Asylum version of Batman and then Joker, so again, no-brainer. Hey, if that sells, let's do some more. They're also going to be doing 2-packs, starting with Nightwing versus Red Hood, and then Batman Earth -52 versus The Flash. Walmart had an ad a couple of weeks ago with Red Death in front of the regular Dark Knight Metal series, but that's been flipped around, I guess. That's why we didn't see it in that assortment. And here it is with McFarlane's first Flash. Nightwing looks to be using most of the same body as that first Nightwing, which that figure's a little huge, at least when you compare it to the rest of the line. But then Red Hood looks fantastic. This picture throws me because he's the only one standing straight up. All the rest of them are down and hunched over and crunched. I think that may be to hide their actual height. That's just me speculating, and that's not me saying anything bad. Maybe it just makes for a better picture all the way across. Who knows? But it makes me feel like Red Hood is shorter, more in scale with the rest of the line. You know, shorter than Batman, shorter than Superman. And then the Flash set is an Amazon exclusive, if I heard right. And then for the next series is Joker, based on the DC Rebirth comic books, Azrael in Batman armor from Batman Curse of the White Knight, Cyborg from Teen Titans, and then another Flash. If you don't care about Red Death and just want a Flash in this line, here's a single release, but with a different head. He's more happy-go-lucky Flash. And then if the Batman armor is as good as Azrael, I know it's not as thick and big, but man, do I love that Azrael figure, so I may have to get this armored Batman. It feels like characters like that, stylized, armored up, is Todd's bread and butter. Joker, instant buy. It seems to be a lot of reuse from the Arkham Asylum Joker, but a new head, and that new head, yeah, that's what sells me. And then the one that stands out against the rest of the figures, much like previous animated figures, is the Teen Titans Cyborg. Don't get me wrong, I dig it, and I hope, ooh, that would be amazing. This is the start of a Teen Titans team from the animated series, but who knows? I just know that I want to see more of that. And then a sneak peek at Flashpoint Batman. Oh, and this may tie Grim Knight as being one of the best looking, best proportioned Batmans in the line. They say all of these are releasing in fall of 2020, except for Flashpoint Batman. He's set for winter of 2020. And I lied. I eat the same thing for breakfast every day. Storm Collectibles wasn't going to sleep on San Diego, fully revealing their Mortal Kombat Motaro. Look at this big honkin', blunt force trauma-inducing chunk of plastic. I don't even collect Mortal Kombat, and I'm eyeballing this for a random beast for my Mezco shelves or somewhere, something. But it also helps that I'm not attached to or familiar with a lot of the secondary characters in Mortal Kombat. I just know the main guys. I could pick Motaro out in a lineup, don't get me wrong, but I'm not attached to this design being a specific character from Mortal Kombat. You know what I mean? It's listed as 9 inches, and I'm not sure if that's tall or long, and I can just hear your fingers rushing the keyboard to say that's what she said. I feel like 9 inches is the height, because with the tail, it's got to be more than 9 inches, right? Comes with 2 heads, several sets of hands, energy effect, and an articulated skeleton body. All for $110, which seems like a hell of a deal here, especially compared to other Storm Collectible Mortal Kombat figures and imports in general. And this is scheduled to drop in December. Storm also slyly slid some pictures across the table as if to say, hey, you've been asking for these. Here you go. Street Fighter E Honda is a all-new body sculpt, obviously. You need one of those for this character, but I feel like they nailed it. But more surprisingly than that, they're finally going to kick off that Darkstalkers line they announced a while back. Dimitri is also looking great, and out of all the lines Storm has, well, video game-wise, I feel like this one has the most potential to give us those oddball characters and creatures and monsters and weird looking things. We'll probably get Morgan next. That's a no-brainer, and I think I saw on D Amazing's Instagram he posted the catalog, and she was pictured underneath, just the game sprite. But I want characters like Sasquatch and Lord Raptor and Talbane and all the rest of those guys. Over on NECA's side of the toy world, they showed pre-production package shots of their upcoming Back to the Future Ultimate Marty McFlys, both Tales from Space and the 1985 version. And seeing them in normal light in the package, how we're going to see it in hand, well, closer to what we're going to see it in hand, the likeness is slightly better. But they also announced the Ultimate Doc Brown 55. Look at that likeness. That is almost scary. It also helps that Christopher Lloyd was very animated in his characterization, and NECA seemed to have grabbed a couple of the most recognizable ones and just knocked them out of the park. I'm going to need 2 just to display them as both. Really, the only thing missing here is the mind-reading helmet. But this is NECA, and they specifically call this Doc Brown 55, so it wouldn't surprise me one bit to see different versions in the future! NECA didn't stop there, also showing off their ultimate Ghostface. I've never really been into scary movies, so I don't know a lot about these characters, but I have seen Scary Movie, and that makes me wish it came with the what's up face. Like that! It does include several other masks, though. Something old, something new, something glowy, and something splattered with your own blood. Then, of course, there's Bloody Knives and the voice changer. I haven't watched the movies, but I know a little bit. And then essentially just take everything I just said about Ghostface and apply that to what's it called? The New Blood Jason. Because with masked head, unmasked head, ooey gooey looking costume, and then many a tool from the shed to dismember and disembowel you. Oh, but that's not all. NECA also showed off some new offerings in their Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles line. Some people, including me, isn't happy about the 30-second sellout bullshit we've been seeing with this line over the past few weeks. So seeing more turtles is a bit bittersweet, but it's still fun. You know, just to see them in plastic form. And I know NECA's working on making that better, but Man, it is frustrating. We had already seen Krang and Android Body at Toy Fair, but I'm a sucker for turnarounds. And I think Veebs mentioned seeing Joe Eyeball at the display in New York, but that's a bit out of my TMNT wheelhouse. Mondo Gecko has a lot of people excited, and so does Rat King and Muckman. And then there's even a Baxter Stockman prototype. So they seem to be rolling along hard and heavy with this line. But since I'm slightly more of a movie fan, the hint or tease of either one or both Hamato Yoshi and Oroku Saki is what caught my eye. So while this stuff does get out there, man, yeah, let's make it less difficult. Even though Super 7 takes a while to ship the product, at least I know I have it secured. Last week they teased a couple of event exclusives with a silhouette of what looked like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Ultimate, fooled you, Baxter Stockman, and then a set of reaction turtles in a mutagen canister. This week they revealed that's exactly what it is, but both of them have a glow-in-the-dark feature. Both went up for sale on Super 7. Baxter Stockman did sell out after a few hours, or some of that day. It was up for a while, but last time I looked, the tube turtles are still available. Medicom wasn't missing out on the fun either. We got some magazine teases either Monday or Tuesday earlier, and then, instead of waiting a week or two, like they usually do, they just put new MAFEX up for pre-order. I didn't watch a lot of the DC animated shows in the 90s, so I'm not familiar with the new adventure, or the new Batman adventures, or whatever this is called. But this seems to capture that style perfectly, which has become Medicom's forte these days. It's just a good-looking Batman, and for a design that seems difficult to break up for movement, they did a good job here, especially in the hips. But ooh, those ankles. That may be a problem point. It also took me a few passes to realize it comes with a hard candy shell plastic cape and then a flowing cloth cape. Because I look at pictures for a while before actually reading where it did list, oh, it comes with both capes. There's also an unmasked Bruce head along with a batarang and a grapnel gun. Is this the beginning of a whole new series like the Hush line, or just a one-off? And how many Batmans are they going to solicit before we actually get a MAFEX Batman in hand? I think Hush is still scheduled for this month, which should be just a week or two from now, but you just never know with Medicom. But over on the Marvel side of things, here is the MAFEX Brown costume Wolverine. This was almost guaranteed after we saw the yellow and blue version of Wolverine, especially with Medicom repainting figures like Spider-Man and Batman. And just like that first Logan, this figure captures Wolverine inch for inch. Proportions, stockiness, size. This time, though, instead of the long straight claws, we get short curved claws. And to change things even more, while that first release unmasked head was stoic, this time around it is wide screaming mouth. Which is cool because then you have more options for both figures. And then for the masked heads, the neutral look seems to be the same as the first one, but then instead of the first version's gritting teeth, the other masked head here is more of a sly grin or smile. Love it. That is going to be my I'm the best at what I do, bub. Already pre-ordered. Batman is $80, which is a price hike above the other MAFEX Batmans, but there's not as much reuse potential here. And then Wolverine is $70, and they're both scheduled for... I'd say scheduled. You know Medicom? They say May, but who knows when it'll actually come out. That's part of the fun with this line, right? You just pre-order it, forget about it, and then 1 month it is just like, surprise, here you go, toys. Jeremy Padower over at Jazwares was on Twitter last night doing some teases for upcoming figures in the AEW Unrivaled line. I'm ready to get this line in hand. I want to see what it's like. Not just because I'm a fan of AEW, but the engineering, the sculpt, everything looks interesting. I want to see how it feels. Last night he revealed Orange Cassidy for Series 3, and man, I know not everyone is a fan of Orange Cassidy, but I love this guy. And honestly, I love how this render captures the freshly squeezed physique. Yes, that took me a time or two to say. Freshly squeezed physique. Jeremy also mentioned that the sunglasses are removable, and then showed a prototype for the shirt and jacket. A little rough, but like he says, prototype, initial stages. All that can also be applied to his reveal of Pac, too. It just oozes bastard, and it makes me miss Death Triangle. It's also cool that these two get revealed together because their match at, I can't even remember what pay-per-view that was, that is one of my AEW highlights. Jeremy also name-dropped Hikaru Shida, and it's just good to get more females into the line. I'm ready. The Mezco booth at San Diego is always fun. You get there, you fight through the people, waiting in line for exclusives, you get in front of the glass, fog it up, you're trying to figure out what's new, what's old, where, it's down there, excuse me. And it's not the same this year, just having pictures posted, but I'm not going to complain too much when they show figures as awesome as this Bishop. And while the design seems very Mezco-fied, it's actually not very far from his look in the last X-Man. Now for you sticklers, I say close, not perfect. There are some embellishments here, but man, I love it from head to toe. It looks like the chest armor is segmented this time around to allow torso movement, which has been a problem in the past. But looking up at the head and seeing that the M is an actual scar, that is a beautiful detail. That along with options for hair and bald. I wish I had that option. And then I think there's a third head option with powered up eye effect. But I do feel like it's missing something, a design element that should be present in any iteration of Bishop, and that's the red scarf or neckerchief or drape or cape. Something red to flow in the wind or hang around the shoulders. No info on this yet, but it is a definite buy when it comes around. I gave the Threezero DLX Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime a test drive last year, and thoroughly impressed. Just an amazing action figure that engineers the hell out of a mechanical form to the point where you can't see a lot of the articulation. And it's got a lot of articulation. So this week when I started seeing pictures of the DLX Siege Optimus Prime, I had to know more. And it doesn't disappoint. 11 inches tall, just trimmed out with all kinds of detail. And what the figure lacks in transformation, which I know is a problem for some, it more than makes up for in posability. You want it to do something? It can. Probably because it's not constrained by the converting feature. I said the dirty word, convert! Apparently that wrinkles some genes on the internet. Who knew? But Prime here has all kinds of hand options. It comes with his gun and then light up features for the head and torso. $180 should release early 2021. Speaking of Transformers that don't transform, my favorite. Here are package shots of Hasbro's Transformers R.E.D. line. The first series is Optimus Prime, Soundwave, and Megatron, and you know what we always say about package shots? Yup, they're getting closer and closer. I'm ready to rip some cardboard. Originally planned to be the Ghostbusters Plasma Series San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, this week Hasbro announced the Tully's Terrible Night set, consisting of Lewis and a terror dog. At first I didn't notice that he had red eyes for obvious reasons, but that goes right along with the helmet and then the frazzled look of the clothes. That makes me think that we may get Lewis in a less possessed state somewhere down the line in the regular series. Either way, it looks good. It matches the rest of the figures in the Plasma series. And then it's awesome that they're giving us a second Terror Dog, well, depending on how easy this set is to get, but I'm not seeing the horn difference that makes this Zool instead of Vince Clortho, who was the Build-A-Figure for the first wave. We'll have to see, or I'm not seeing something. Am I missing something here? This, like all of Hasbro's now Pulse exclusives, will be going up in September. Same goes for the Star Wars Black Series Empire Strikes Back 40th Anniversary version of the Wampa. This is one of those perfect side or show exclusives that's not a unique character. It's more of just a something we have, slightly repainted, or a different accessory or two. Although I do like the cleaner look, and then the vintage style packaging is going to be unavoidable because nostalgia. Like many others though, I wish they had went ahead and re-engineered the right arm to give it full range of movement instead of just the chop off feature. But it seems they planned for 2 Star Wars Black Series exclusives, and I think that's a first. I think. Again, I can't remember last San Diego. But does that mean this line is getting up with Marvel Legends in popularity? The second set is Heroes of Endor, giving us Luke, Leia, and Han in their gear from the Forest Moon. And there's actually quite a bit of new sculpting here. Luke may be reuse from the recent Walmart exclusive, and then Han has at least a new torso and arms, but it seems Leia is completely new, right down to the hinge and swivel knees. The set also includes a speeder bike and Paplu. Another Ewok, yay! In an exclusive set. Aww. I say that because according to a leak list on yakface.com, the Luke, Leia, and Han will all be in a future regular wave assortment. And that may be where we see Han's trench coat and Leia's poncho if they aren't included in this set. Hasbro's got to give us incentive to buy more figures, you know? But I have a feeling that Paplu may be only available here. That means I'll be button mashing on Pulse come September. Kinda like I was button mashing on Target.com this week, which is becoming more and more of a miserable experience every time we have to do it. Well, not so much for the Star Wars Galaxy Edge figures that dropped there this week. Both Captain Cardinal and DJ, I don't know this character, R3X stayed up for pre-order for quite a while, at least compared to all the other pre-orders we've done this month, but that may be because it wasn't heavily advertised. I saw a teaser on Target's Twitter, but not much fanfare before. I think Cardinal is using the First Order Stormtrooper body, but is the cape supposed to have a red stripe? And then the R3X is a reissue from the Disney Park exclusive box set. Can we get Pyre in this line too? Because I want a gold Stormtrooper, and then Hondo for those who missed him. Or did they already announce that and I missed it? Missed being the perfect segue into talking about the Target exclusive G.I. Joe Classified Series, Special Missions Cobra Island assortment. These dropped on Target.com this week, and while I saw a select few say, hey, I got something, most of us weren't able to get Jack pre-ordered. It was another one of those, it's up, click, shit, gone. But this set was announced the night before with some pretty pictures, and the assortment consists of Roadblock, totally redecoed, and looking damn majestic with his beard, but the painted on shirt isn't doing it any favors. The Cobra Trooper is a perfect army builder for this line, so of course let's make it Target exclusive. And while it reuses parts of Duke, it looks unique, and that's what matters. I don't mind reuse when it's not just blatantly apparent. On top of that, it has a classic feel to it. Double Dealer on his Instagram posted the digital render for the Trooper, and this is our first look at it with the helmet on and how the armband actually fits up on the arm. And it makes it look even better. Options are cool. You army build this guy, and you can have helmet on, helmet off, armband, no armband, accessories, weapons, yeah, a bunch of different troops. Beachhead is the one that hurts the most here. Again, that classic feel, I don't even mind the Nerf guns, it just looks unmistakably Beachhead. And then Baroness with motorcycle looks awesome. We knew what her design would look like from that initial poster, or well, the back of the packages, but having it all in black for this pack, it makes it, Again, it was physically painful to miss securing these on the site, but there's a couple of silver linings that's keeping me from getting too angry about it. One, that same day people began finding these in Targets. Some were street dated for sometime in August, but this gives me faith that I may be able to find these in store. And from what I'm told, they are coming in straight cases of each character. The box someone saw said Beachhead, and it had all Beachheads. And then someone else that found the Troopers said there were quite a few on the pegs. More than that though, I gotta think that since this is a special mission series, that we'll see the uniques in the main line at some point. Guarantee Baroness comes with the gold armor bits, and then the Trooper can have a different color of some kind. Beachhead I'm less confident about, but if they make the greens darker and then camo up the pants, I'd have no problem buying it that way too. Point is, unlike other recent exclusive items from other companies, I feel like there's a better chance at getting this after missing the online sale. We've already seen 3 Cobra Commanders, 2 Destros, 2 Roadblocks. Hasbro isn't afraid to redeco these and get them back out there. Some people see that as a negative, but to me, that's just options. Different versions. You don't like this version, you can get this version. Plus, it makes it easier to get a character in general. Well, at least eventually. This week, because of SDCC, instead of doing a Fan First Friday live stream, the Marvel team went ahead and did it on Tuesday because why not? Unfortunately for the Marvel team, that was the morning of the G.I. Joe Fustercluck on Target.com, so fans were in that Facebook chat raising hell. That's kind of like driving up and going, hey, my pizza was late and cold. I want a refund. And the guy just leans out the window and goes, hey, calm your ass down. This is Taco Bell. Don't get me wrong, I hated missing on those pre-orders, but the Marvel team has nothing to do with that. But what do I know? Anyway, most of the Marvel reveals here were either known or hinted at, so there wasn't any huge surprises, but it's nice seeing the final versions of some of the action figures we've been wanting. They thanked everybody for backing the Sentinel and did announce that it will come with a second tentacle for the hand. There may or may not be more tiers. They're looking and waiting and seeing and working and whatever. The campaign is funded, but if you want in, it's still up on Hasbro Pulse. Next up, they showed the pretty promotional and package pics for the Deadpool movie figures. Domino's looking awesome with her alternate heads, and I love the weapons, while Deadpool and Negasonic Teenage Warhead comes in a 2-pack, which we knew, but seeing it in the same box kind of cements that in. Yes, he has the unicorn, and that makes me wish he had alternate feet with the Crocs. But it's still up in the air if the pistols come out of the holsters, though. Or maybe that's been mentioned and I missed that too. But the movie figures are available right now on most sites, like Doorside Toys. Another case of, yep, saw those, thank you for the pre-order, is the 2-pack of Old Man Logan and Hawkeye. We have most of this Logan already, but the Hawkeye is Hasbro's first dive into pinless limbs. And I like this set, despite not reading the story, but the addition of hat and trench coat to Logan makes him look more post-apocalyptic. And Hawkeye just has a good look all around. I've seen people suggest online that you can use him for a Whistler to go with Blade, if you want that, if you don't care about Old Man Hawkeye. Or with some blonde hair paint, you can make Rock and Roll from Hasbro's G.I. Joe site. The base body just has a nice, casual, tactical look to it. Hell, if you're wanting this for customs, even the baby Hulk can be repainted to go with your custom Nomad. Remember that version of Nomad? That was a crazy 80s look. For the Nimrod pack, Nimrod itself was debuted at Toy Fair, but then Amazon France spilled the beans on it being a 3-pack with Phantom X and Psylocke. But we hadn't seen the actual figures until the live stream. I haven't read a lot of modern X-Force, so I'm not attached at all to Psylocke's costume here. I'm still waiting for that Betsy in the original pink and purple armor. And then while I know Phantom X more in his all-white costume from New X-Men, he's been rocking the black stripes for so long that it doesn't bother me. I still want it, especially since this is such an upgrade from that original figure. The 3-pack also has an impressive array of effects and accessories. Amazon exclusive, but it's still up for pre-order. You hear that, Target? But that'll run you $80. But what's not up for pre-order right now is the 2-pack of First Appearance Storm and Thunderbird. Why isn't it available? Target.com. But it was up on the site for a good 5-6 minutes before it sold out. That's a huge window these days. Hopefully it'll be easy to find in stores, or it'll come back up for order online, because this version of Storm has been on a lot of people's wish lists for a long time. And while some are griping about the inclusion of Thunderbird in this pack, which admittedly he didn't last long in the comics, to me he's an essential part of that original, that giant-sized team. They picked the perfect body for John. It's just unfortunate that it's a bit dated. And hopefully they fix that shoulder problem where it shears up onto the torso. But the head seems to float high on the neck. So there'll be some fixing that needs to be doing. But I am definitely in for this set. And then the Marvel team announced what was going to be their San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, now Pulse exclusives. And hey, you recognize that wheelchair? That's the reason that the Days of Future Past Xavier and Magneto 2-pack has that wheelchair, so they could reuse it for this Logan 2-pack. Gotta fit the budget where they can, especially with all the new parts in here. Both look great, and it's nice to get a representation of one of the better Fox X-Men movies. Plus I can give the MAFEX Scarecrow body that I've been using for a custom Logan back to the Dark Knight shelf. Win-win! The other exclusive was teased a couple times, first with a buckled shoe and then a book with an H on it, and of course it was going to be the Hellfire Club. Finally, White Queen in a corset. And because of the similar aspects of the costumes from the comics, of course we were going to get a Black Queen Jean Grey, or Celine if you want to use the alternate head. And then that same concept works for both Shaw and Pierce. It kind of blew my mind when they mentioned that it reuses some parts from the suited Nick Fury body, and I'm like, oh, now I see it. I wouldn't have seen it unless it was pointed out to me. Of course, that's the story of my life. A lot of things have to be pointed out to me. But this is one of those sets that you hate to see as an exclusive because of the unique characters. Sure, the Logan and Xavier set is unique looks, but if you miss out on that, you can still have a Wolverine and a Professor X on the shelf somewhere. Here, we may not get another chance at Shaw and Pierce and White Queen in this look. I need Hellfire on my shelf. And really, they could squeeze out another set using most of these parts for Tessa and Mastermind and DaCosta, and maybe a new body for Leland. Hopefully these won't be impossible to get when they go up in September on Pulse. The Hellfire set is $80, which seems really reasonable, and the Logan set will be $50. But then they ended the live stream with some teases, just like they do at the panel at San Diego Comic-Con. Dwight held up a yellow blob that I first thought was a rubber ducky for some reason. Well, the stream wasn't the greatest quality, okay? But then he explained it's a yellow gloved hand holding an empty yellow glove. That's gotta be Rogue, right? A Rogue and Pyro set has been rumored for a while. In fact, I think it was that same Nimrod listing on Amazon France that first leaked that. And it still says it on the Amazon US listing for the Nimrod set. But which version of Rogue? Which version of Pyro? People speculated that it was a movie set, but with yellow gloves, it's gotta be comic-based. That was followed by a very fake-out ending, very MCU-ish. Everyone said bye, the screen faded to black, but then you started hearing talking again, the screen came back up, and there was Dwight holding two silver segmented tubes that attached together. And then they mentioned Build-A-Figure. It's gotta be Stiltman. How cool would that be? Well, fans hate regular-sized human Build-A-Figures, but I see this as having at least 3 scenarios. Stiltman's the Build-A-Figure, and then there is one army builder character in that wave, such as a Hellfire Guard, and it comes with either 1 or 2 Stilt extensions. You build Stiltman, you buy multiple Hellfire Guards because they're Hellfire Guards, and then you get multiple extensions. Option 2, Wilbur is split up in the wave, but each part of Stiltman comes with 1 extension. So if you buy 1 set, you'll still get multiple extensions. Or option 3, Stiltman is a regular character in the wave, and the segmented sections are in each character of that wave. Either way, it's going to be fun to see how, well, when and if this happens, how tall we can get our Stiltmans before he comes crashing down. And that's it for this week. As I've been recording this, there has probably been more reveals, more toys, more pre-orders. Like I said, if we miss something or more reveals happen throughout the weekend, we'll catch that next week. But if you're interested in seeing any of these pictures closer up without me all in front of them, I will be posting all of that on the Foosh Front page Saturday at noon. San Diego's weird from the house. I don't know what to think yet. It's felt more stressful because you go to San Diego Comic-Con and you're there. You're kind of shut off from the rest of the world. You're just immersed in all this stuff. It's not a bad thing. It is kind of nice being at San Diego in my pajamas, but yeah, it's different. But if you enjoyed this Foosh Weekly, however long this turns out to be, comment, like, subscribe. Much love to the plus if you're interested in seeing videos early or just in a position to help out the channel. Patreon.com. But wherever you may be watching this, I'll always catch you on the Foosh. What time is it? Holy shit. I've been at this for 2 hours. I don't know what the final edit's going to look like, but I apologize.